Welcome to the Modern Assyrian on AGN. This is Carmen Morad. My special guest today is a very special young lady, Ator Bakoz, president of Cassia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for making time to be here. I know you're a very busy young lady as your new role as the president of Cassia. Tell us a little bit about your role and your organization, Ator.
Like you said, I am president of an organization here in the Central Valley called Cassia, or Central California Assyrian Student and Youth Association. Our mission statement is to unite the young Assyrians of the Central Valley, primarily here in Modesto and Turlock. I am the current president standing since March of this year. However, I have been on the board for about 2 years prior. I was a standing secretary for the previous president. And my current role entails directing a general body as well as a board of 5 other board members.
How exciting is that? And as a young lady, you have your profession, your education, but I see the very strong sense of you for your identity, your heritage. Share with our viewers, Ator, how you came to be so involved and so immersed in your culture and heritage and where you grew up.
So I actually grew up here in Modesto, California, up until the age of 8 years old, and then my family moved to Arizona. When I moved to Arizona, I believe that is when my culture shock, I guess you could say, really set in, because at that time in 2006, there weren't that many Assyrians in Arizona. I went to a high school and elementary school, and out of all the students, there was only 7 Assyrians. So you can imagine how you feel as somebody, especially an Assyrian living in diaspora, when somebody comes up to you and they ask you that very famous question, where are you from? You say, I'm Assyrian. And they say, Assyrian, are you from Syria? And then you have to follow up with, no, it's a little bit more difficult than that. And then you have to tell them, well, I don't have a country. Well, what happened to your country? And of course, as young as I was when we had first moved there, I had no idea how to answer that question until I grew up, and then I found organizations like Cassia. My family moved back from Arizona to the Central Valley in 2013. When we moved back, about 3 years later, I finished high school, and I had a friend of mine, and she actually had invited me to a meeting with Cassia. And I was beyond excited because before that, the only Assyrians I had ever been a part of, a community, was at church, Gu'umra youth group. And that's where I learned how to read and write Assyrian, and that's where I fell in love with my culture, but not my community, because I hadn't known the extent of my community just yet. So when we moved back to California, like I said, in 2013, and 3 years later, Cassia was established by Anthony Narcy, the first president of Cassia, and I was invited to the meeting. I remember sitting in that meeting, and I couldn't help but be emotional. You know, I wasn't crying, but I was almost overwhelmed with the fact that we are meeting here not because we're in church, and not because we're part of some other youth organization. We're meeting here because we are just proud to be Assyrian. We're meeting here because we never had a place where we could fit in. We don't have a country where we can all meet and be together. We found a mutual setting where we all agreed on one thing, the fact that we're Assyrian and that we all belong here together. And I noticed that Cassia, even to this day, what we do to keep each other together is we host social events, communal events, and educational events. And those always prove to be very successful. And to this day, I'm so proud to be part of this organization 6 years later. And I do remember after one of the first couple meetings that I had went to, some people told me, we can tell how proud you are and how you feel so passionate to be part of this organization. Well, of course, if you've never been a part of something like this before, it's kind of like a fire starts. It's very small at first, and then you start to find yourself saying, I hope I end up in the board one day. And then before you know it, you're a president, and you say, how did I get here? And you just look back, and it's fascinating to see how much you've grown and how much your passion has burned for you to get to this spot, and now it's only growing bigger. So you kind of have to say to yourself, I hope this never goes out. And when I obviously sitting here with people like you, I can tell that fire never goes out. So
Ator, you are so articulate.
Thank you.
your story resonates with people. There are many young people watching right now, or parents of young people who are perhaps struggling with how to introduce themselves when they are at school, when they are at work, about who are you or what is Assyrian. What a beautiful way to learn and to enhance and advance your identity, your knowledge, and putting it into action. Thank you for sharing that with me. You're right, it is very emotional, and I do see the passion in you. And as a young lady, you really have a lot of leadership attributes. And what I would like to ask you is, Ator, what is it that young people who are searching for what you just described, how can they join Cassia? Now you live in Modesto, but what about in, let's say, Southern California or Northern California? How can they join in this wonderful group?
So here in California, we actually have 3 branches. I'd like to first start by explaining that we have a mother organization under the name of AFA, which stands for the Assyrian Youth Federation of America. And under the Federation, the Assyrian Youth Federation of America, specifically in California, we have 3 branches. We have Kessia, which I'm the president of, and then we have a branch in Los Angeles as well as San Jose. So if you're part of Southern California, you can more so find information to join maybe the LA branch. And of course, if you live in the San Jose area, you can join the San Jose branch. The application process is very simple. We do all have social media that entails to Instagram, Facebook, and you can find our applications on all of those organizational websites. The age requirement is from 15 to 35 years old. And in order to join, there doesn't have to be any kind of prerequisite or anything like that. The important thing is that you come from a Syrian background and that you are looking to find an organization to become a part of.
What are some of the activities that you engage in? Because it's wonderful to meet and belong to a group that you want to belong in. It's a sense of community and belonging. But you shared with me earlier, Ator, that there are some amazing activities that you do to meet Assyrians from other backgrounds and other countries. Tell us how a family watching can perhaps be a host to Assyrian exchange students from Europe.
Yeah, so actually just last month in August, we had a group of 9 Assyrian youth individuals come from a youth organization based in Germany under the name of AGN. We actually hosted them here in our homes, the homes of Kessia members. And the importance of doing that is so that they can see how we live here as Assyrian Americans. And if you are interested in becoming part of Kessia, an exchange is a benefit that you would get. Being a host is a benefit that you would get if you were to join. If you do have a child or a young adult who is a part of Kessia, they are more than welcome to host when these youth members come from Europe. You just have to be a part of Kessia or any other youth organization in America. So,
how are your activities funded? Do you do fundraising, or, for example, when there's trips to be made, how can someone watching who really likes what your organization does to help you to propel these activities and to perhaps donate? Because you are a 501c3, correct?
We are, yes. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization. On our Facebook page, if you search up Kessia or Central California Assyrian Student and Youth Association, there is a link to donate to our organization. Most of our activities, they are funded by money that we have gained from fundraising. We do fundraising activities by reaching out to local Assyrian organizations and offering maybe us donating our time in exchange for them to donate money to us, or we do communal events and we just set up donations for people. For example, about a year or 2 ago, we did an event it was a communal event for Nuserdil, and we just left donations open, and it was open to the general public. So we do have closed events that are just for Kessia members and their families.
I see.
And we have open events that are open to the entire Assyrian community. and we get donations because they come to the event. We were hosting a barbecue. We had a play area for the children to play with, water activities, and it was just a great connecting event between Kessia and the community. So,
and the donations are tax deductible. Very
exactly.
important for businesses, Assyrian businesses, to know. Ator, thank you for sharing all the information that you did. In closing, because I know you're very articulate in English, but I also you speak very lovely dialect of Assyrian. إن بسمع لك بسورة ما خبرانك ختامة خرزة مغرب قاقشتان المغبة.
إن إتلي خمسج قناشتي لبروجة ابن إديوم إن إتلوخن بنونة وبناثا وبيتو أني قامي قومتا وقامي ولابي بس آثر رابع importantly لقا شضريتو لغ قدنا شو تاسي دخ كسيا قماصي لابي وخازي إثناشة دي لبشنة ديها دبيلة أمتا ودبي خزيلة أمتا قامة رابع importantly لا قشوقة أني تبقي منن وخزيلن أخني دخي هاوخ وكما خدي هاوخ قدوة شولة أمتا بسيمة رابع وبسيمة Carmen.
Thank you to Ator Bakoz, President of Cassia, for this wonderful interview. I would like to invite you to come back and share with us other events and activities that you'll be doing.
Carmen, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and this platform to speak on my organization. I look forward to coming back and meeting with you, and hopefully I will be able to bring some of my members, and we'll be able to talk further on the progression of Kessia. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. The pleasure is ours. AGN is always here to promote any activities that your organization has. This concludes my conversation with President of Cassia, Ator Bakoz. I'll see you on the next Modern Assyrian.